Okay, so this show is about me just spilling some of my thoughts out so that I don't forget it. Kind of grey gets to worry me. So, before I forget everything, I thought it'd be a good idea just to talk some of my ideas out while driving to or from work. You'll notice that the interior of the car is not a fancy SUV. I'm an O from Mitchell's Plain, Cape Town. I kind of like my community. I like where I come from. I like where I'm going to. And I'm driving in traffic with my cell phone stuck on the windscreen so that I can talk to you. Not bad, eh? Today, what is today? Today is September the something. What is it? Somebody tell me. The 26th. September the 26th. 2016, in case you're interested. And interesting thing that we're going through here in Mitchell's Plain in Cape Town is that there's been so much crime happening on the train routes that the company who runs the rails here, Metro Rail, is actually seriously thinking about just discontinuing that entire train route. So today traffic is backed up just everywhere you go because everybody's having to find alternate ways of moving today. So traffic is backed up everywhere. Now let's just talk about this. On the one hand, I've traveled internationally. So I've traveled in Paris on the train system. I've taken the London Tube quite a lot. I've traveled around there quite a bit. I've traveled in New York. I've traveled everywhere. And interesting thing I found out in Europe, in London particularly, I managed to talk to somebody who actually was part of the London Tube people, the guys who look at the management of it. And interestingly enough, the UK was prepared to spend, they were losing around, I can't remember the numbers exactly, but it felt like in South African terms it was 6 billion rand per annum or something stupid like that. Point is, they were willing to run at a loss in order to be able to move their people around. Now, you felt safe. You felt extremely safe moving around all the time. There were incidences, but the policing process, the security process, that was admirable. It allowed you to feel comfortable. So you could imagine if you wanted to be able to start up a small business and you create little pink hairy widgets that you want to stick in boxes and take for people to be able to buy. You could stack them in a little box, get in a train and get yourself out to somewhere and say, yeah, check what I've got, buy it from me. That's kind of cool. But no, in Cape Town we've got, look, let's talk about Mitchell's Plain also, just a quick digression. Mitchell's Plain, I love Mitchell's Plain. It's still one of those places where there is a sense of community, where everybody talks to each other. You know all your neighbors. You don't just know the neighbor next door to you. You know all your neighbors. You know that when Mrs. Hendricks down the road, when Mr. Hendricks gets retrenched, you know that Asa next door to them is going to come and talk to Ferdy and say, look, the Hendrickses, they're going through a bit of a tough time. Can we take turns in getting a pot of food to them? As that kind of community still. That's Mitchell's Plain. I know that everybody else who does a quick scan of Mitchell's Plain talks about drugs and gangs and all that other rubbish. But what they don't realize is that here's a 50 square kilometer city and drugs is everywhere. Gangs are everywhere. Guns are everywhere. Everybody gets hijacked or shot somewhere. But so many people from Mitchell's Plain actually feel safe. They feel a sense of relief once they get home, because it's like running through a gauntlet everywhere else. So the crime that we're talking about on the trains is not crime on the train, it's crime off the train, on the tracks, between some of the really hotspots, which are outside of Mitchell's Plain, by the way. You know, we say it's the Mitchell's Plain track, but Mitchell's Plain sits on one end. It's where the train terminates, the end of the line, and on the other end of the line is Cape Town, and so people want to get to a place. But between these two places, there's Bellville, there's Nyanga, there's Langa, there's a whole lot of other little places, and the crime is rife there, and so they're tearing up tracks and doing everything else. And now, because we don't have a security system offered by the government to make sure that traveling is safe, we have a problem. The millions of people coming from Mitchell's Plain are now being threatened not to have transport any longer because the intermediary stations have got so much crime that nobody wants to do anything about, that is going to jeopardize our people's ability to get to work. That's sick. That's wrong. So the question I've got is, why the heck can't we start getting private security companies, or is it not possible that the railways can get the railway police back, because that's gone? There used to be a time when there used to be the railway police and they used to monitor everything else. You know, the word Gachi, conductor kind of person in South African terms. Gachi. He used to get in, walk through, check everybody's tickets, sure everything was going fine. They're too scared to get onto the train right now. And as long as on the train, it is getting into the stations, they aren't getting the security right around the railway system to be able to protect a national asset, and particularly provincial assets. From my experience in this area, the railway system and the bus system from Mitchell's Plain is world class. No jokes. It's world class. I've travelled on the bus and on the train and on taxis from Mitchell's Plain to quite a few places. I travelled in my car as well. But I have a point of comparison. I've travelled on the tube, I've travelled in buses and taxis internationally, and we compare more than favourably. The problem does not lie with the transport system. The problem lies in getting the security right around the transport system to make sure that we can get places safely. What's your take on it? Please let me know. Tell me in your links underneath if there's such a thing. I'm going to figure that out, okay? I'm going to figure that out. There must be links and at the bottom is somewhere that I can get you to start commenting. I'm looking forward to your comments. Talk to me.